Another thing that I'm jealous of that men really lucked out on is hookup culture, because it literally only works for them. But somehow, like, and I don't even think that the men convinced women to be this way. I think women convince themselves, like, yeah, like, if I just sleep with him, like, it'll be better for me. And it's like, I just know that men sat back and thought, you're right, sweetheart, let's try it. Let's try it out, let's see. I think you're gonna love it. And now, like, 10 years later, the women are like, oh my God, we didn't love it.
We tried to warn them. For several thousands of years, across multiple different religions, we tried to tell them, women are not men. You cannot do what the top 10, top 5% of all men throughout history can do without consequences. But you wouldn't listen. You thought feminism had the answers, and it led you down a path of destruction. And so what, we're supposed to feel sorry for you now?
They think that they can lay down with men indiscriminately and it has no effect on their soul and their psyche and their brain, which is not true. They are degraded each and every time they lay down with a new man, for he not only pokes his into their orifice, he also pokes his to their heart, and they come to you damaged with many holes in their shattered heart. They can never be whole.
Precisely. And as Marquette so eloquently described, this is not something that they planned for, because women love to see only half the story. They love the immediate gratification. They love pretending that they're so empowered. The challenge, though, comes into play where you burn through all your oxytocin receptors, and you cannot bond with a man who would truly care about you as a human being, chasing Chad and Tyrone all over town, trying to get them to commit when they don't have to. They never had to. And here you are, looking crazy, because you treated your purity and your virtue, two things men care about above all else, as though it were a code you need to get rid of as soon as possible.
All guys want. All guys want is pussy.
Yeah. Or could it be that the men that only want pussy, the men that only want sex from women, is because that's all that the women have to offer? Because for me, if pussy's all you're offering, pussy's all I want.
The looks on their faces were priceless. It's as if it's the first time in their lives they've ever been told they need to bring more to the table than just what they were born with. And also, they seem stunned that men have the ability to adapt. But that's what we do. Because, sweetheart, Brian was right. If the only thing you got is one or several moist holes, then why shouldn't men look at you and treat you exactly as the paid-for, disposable commodity that you've chosen to be?
It's kind of insanely tragic to watch certain women degrade themselves and other women for the validation and attention of men who don't even see them as human beings. Watch them throw away their dignity and their self-worth for an audience that doesn't even like them, that would drop them like this, that wouldn't spit on them if they were on fire unless she let them hit. Like, girls, stand up. They don't even speak kindly of you, and you would throw yourself off a cliff for an ounce of their attention. They still treat you the way they treat the rest of us. They still call you the things that they call the rest of us. You cannot outrun your womanhood.
All of that bimbo babble aside, men will never be as successful at objectifying women as they are at objectifying themselves. Also, men do not hate womanhood. We love femininity. The problem is, there's no wives left in Babylon.
Like, they love them some hoes. Like, they love them some hoes. I'm not saying go be a hoe. I'm not saying that don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just saying boys love that shit. They really do. They love them a hoe.
She's missed the point, both entirely and on purpose. It's not that men love hoes. It's that hoes, A, tell you who they are up front, B, tell you the price up front, and C, don't pretend to be something that they're not.
How many guys have you got with in one night before?
Like 10. 10. Like 10.
Open your eyes.
I would think guys in one night.
What was before we dated?
It doesn't matter to me. Like,
It doesn't matter.
I'm being serious. Like, when did you go take guys in one night?
It was before we dated, so it doesn't matter.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
no, it matters to me that you got to take guys in one night. How long you guys been dating for?
It was before we dated.
It doesn't matter when it was.
It's fine.
No, it's not fine. Who is she? I don't even know her anymore. It doesn't matter what it was. She's for the streets. She's for the streets. She's for the streets.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jesus can't save these hoes. Why are you trying? What make you think you greater than Jesus, nigga?
If it was no big deal, she would have told him that when he asked for her phone number a year ago. If it was no big deal, she'd wear a t-shirt with that up there so the whole world could see it. Imagine being this naive bastard thinking he wifed up a good one.
What is your biggest regret in life?
Oh, that's not bad. My biggest regret in life is hooking up with the guy that I really like's best friends.
Oh!
And nobody knows.
No one knows. Some people might know now if you're at home.
Damn, he's on TikTok.
Damn. Poor guy. Because not only is this chick his supposed girlfriend, but she let several of his so-called homies bust her down. And I bet you everybody's smiling in his face. Maybe it is easy just to pay for it and get it over with.
If you could go back in time and tell your 18-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
Listen, when you want to get laid, hire a hooker and go home. I'd rather pay a prostitute so she leaves when we're done, rather than sit here and put a bunch of money into a chick and then taking her out for nice dinners, buying her shit, and you get the same result in the end anyway. She's still paying for pussy.
Now, some women and blue-pilled men are going to hear that and think, wow, how cruel, how callous. How could these men say such things? Well, case in point.
What was the worst date you've been on?
Oh, some guy had invited me to dinner. We're having dinner at the hotel that he was staying at. We're having a good time. And afterwards, he was like, "Oh, come back to my room." I'm like, "No, I just met you. It's my first date." So he's like, "All right, fine." So he calls me an Uber. I'm on my way home. And like, while I'm in the car, he like cancels my Uber. This is like back when like you could cancel Ubers while you're in it. And I'm like, "Hey, like, my Uber said it's, like, canceled." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm getting another Uber for a bitch this town." So I was like, I don't know if he could yeah, that was the worst thing.
Let's give that man a round of applause, because not only did he take her no for an answer, he made sure he didn't press the issue. He sent her on her way. And when she got about halfway to where she was going, he realized, you know what, I'm done expending any more of my resources on you. I'm going to allocate them in the direction of a woman who actually finds value in me and wants to do what we both know we came here to do. What the hell did she think was going to happen taking dinner with this man at the hotel he's staying at? Women love to play stupid, guys. They love to pretend they don't know what time it is. But he didn't play along. He didn't press the issue. He didn't force her. He didn't do any of that. He simply reallocated his resources. And that's a lesson for all of us.
What does buying a hooker and buying a sandwich have in common? Both could have been avoided had your wife done her goddamn job in the first place. Tell me that's not fucking funny.
It's funny because it's true.
Here's the reason why young men are choosing hookers over girlfriends. Modern dating, it's exhausting. Young girls, they complain about everything. Nothing is ever good. Didn't text back fast enough. The restaurant, it wasn't nice enough. He's not romantic enough. It's constant work, and he's never winning. A hooker, well, she just shows up, and she's happy to be there. And she leaves when he needs to focus on his goals. No drama, no demands, no guilt trips. She doesn't drain his bank account or his mental energy. And she doesn't make him choose between herself and his future. She's just easy in every sense. Young men, get yourself a hooker. Or find yourself a mature woman who's got her shit together.
Well, she's not wrong. A lot of young men, especially those who are upwardly mobile, they've seen the benefit in renting a woman just for a couple of hours. And or getting access to an older woman because they just need to practice. That said, I wonder if there's a link in her bio.
We are going to see a crazy surge in prostitution in the next 10 years because we will pick prostitution over a family. I interviewed 1,000 women in a year, and it showed me the dark realities of what is going on during this year. I saw women leave their husbands over no reason. I saw women that had children go out every night of the week. And the most depressing part was how common prostitution has become. We are going to see a crazy surge in prostitution in the next 10 years. I would not be surprised if it gets legalized in all the major cities, because from what I have seen, we will pick prostitution over a family. I'm not saying that's good, but we're seeing a huge surgence of OnlyFans models of women when they're 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. Women at that age have the option to get married, and they are choosing prostitution. You see them going on Aiden Ross's stream. You see them getting invited to all the hot parties. Again, that's more fun and exciting to many women than a family.
Pearl may be right, because we know that by 2030, well over 40% of all women who are of childbearing age are going to be single, meaning unmarried and childless. Unless something is done To curb this, pay for play might be the only viable alternative.
In my life, I've literally spent over $500,000 on hookers.
What?
Best investment ever, because you know what that ROI me spent, and you're laughing because it's like, it's funny, but you're like, wow, that makes an incredible amount of sense, and that's why it's like kind of comedic in sense. But I've thought about these things, and as far as my investment, $500,000 on hookers, I've made millions with that. Those days saved, where I don't have to entertain the bull. I don't have to, like, let's go to a movie and this and that.
While $500,000 worth of professionals might seem excessive to some, most of us understand that if you can lose $500,000 to gain several millions, that is a remarkable return on investment and freed up time.
What do you think about the hookup culture?
The hookup culture sucks, especially in Miami. I feel like if you're a girl in Miami and you're hooking up with a guy, eventually like someone's gonna catch feelings for someone else, and it just like never works out. I feel like people have too many options here. Everyone's just everyone. I feel super used. I'm like really unhappy every time I hook up with someone and it goes absolutely nowhere. And then I just wake up the next day and it sucks. And then I call you
Yeah.
to you about it.
Like the last girl that I went out with, she had a whole family and she didn't tell me. She had like a husband and a daughter, and she was hiding it from me and didn't tell me the truth until I saw her screensaver on her phone.
So we have an attractive Latina, pretty enough to gain the attention of very high income, high status men in South Beach, the billionaire's playground. And here's the thing, guys. Human nature demands that you can't get tired of anything that doesn't happen to you over and over again. You can't get tired of hookup culture unless you are getting repeatedly clapped like a standing ovation. And the saddest part of this whole thing isn't just that she's getting knocked off on a regular basis, to the point where she's getting tired of it. She's getting tired of being the woman men don't want to keep around. But she's got a guy in the friend zone that she's got on speed dial to tell him all about it. My guy, why have you made your life such that a woman who looks attractive enough to sleep with calls you to tell you about the other men who actually gets the opportunity? Pull your head out, son. Get your shit together.
All women today are basically prostitutes. Even if you're married, you're a prostitute. In a way, I don't think most women are into sex. They're into what sex can bring them, which is the money, all the fun trips, the surgeries, the makeup, the clothes, everything they can put on the gram. They're in it to satisfy your itch so they can get what they want. But in the end, they don't want to have it. They want to get the marriage bill, pop out the child so they can get the bag secured, and then they're retired.
When 70 to 90% of all divorces are the woman's idea, and most Western women speak, dress, and behave exactly like their 304 counterparts, why are men expected to sift through the rubble to find a gem?
Yeah, I just think marriage is an L in today's day and age. I mean, there's obviously the tradition component if you're religious, but when it comes to the government involvement and the potential financial ramifications of having to unwind a marriage, it does not make sense. Just a couple quick stats on the marriage thing. 50% of marriages end in divorce. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. 90% if she's college educated. 90% of child support payments go from men to women. 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. So I think marriage is a pretty big L for men, and they get absolutely crushed in the court system. Prenuptial agreements can get thrown out. So even if you do have a prenuptial agreement, they can definitely be thrown out. They're not bulletproof. So don't get married, guys.
When a young multimillionaire like Brian Atlas from the Whatever Podcast tells you the stats, you should probably listen. This is a man with a lot to lose if he makes a silly decision.
What was the worst financial decision that you made throughout your career?
Oh, man, getting married, man. Getting married, man. My divorce wiped me out. It was terrible. Marriage is a business, and I didn't look at it like that. You know, I was one of those sucker for love kind of guys. So I was, I'm in love, you know. It's a business. And if you don't look at it like that, that could be one of the worst financial mistakes you make. I'm being honest, being very blunt. Wiped me out, had to start over from scratch.
Imagine having your entire life wrecked, leveled to the ground by a creature that only uses its emotions to make decisions that affect the lives of other people, and then being told it was a good idea for you to do so in the first place by society at large.
So let's assume a man is making $1,300 an hour, like my friend. In the traditional dating pipeline, what would be expected of him? Well, first, he'd have to spend some time making something happen. Maybe he has to go out to a bar on a Saturday night and rizz up a girl. And this is hardly a sure thing, even at the local meat market, so he'll have to have the energy and the emotional resilience to deal with the rejection that inevitably stands between him and an actual prospect. Or he'll have to spend time creating a dating profile on an app that won't land him in the invisible 90% functionally ignored by all women. and swiping on hundreds of accounts in order to get some matches. Either way, once he succeeds in getting a number, he'll need to spend more time playing the text game in order to help the woman feel sufficiently safe and sufficiently attracted, which is not an easy balance to strike, to meet up for an actual date. Of course, he'll be expected to plan the date, which will almost certainly occur at some neutral location, as opposed to his house, several days or even weeks out. On the date, he'll be expected to cover all the expenses, but as we'll see, this is the most inexpensive part of dating for him. The meeting itself will probably last 2, maybe 3 hours, with potentially an hour of commuting to and from the location. So he likely has to block off an entire evening, and busy, successful men may only get 1 evening off a week, if that. And given all this time and effort and expense, there is, of course, absolutely no guarantee that the man will even be attracted to the woman in question, let alone succeed in securing a sexual encounter. And irrespective of the moral or ethics involved, this is frustrating because since men attempt to exchange resources for sexual opportunity in the sexual marketplace, this is why he's there.
Correct. Men do not date women just because we have nothing else better to do. We date women because we're physically attracted to them and we would like to hopefully gain consensual access to them. Barring all ethics and morals aside, that's the deal. And women love pretending that they don't know that.
So even if we ignore all the monetary expenses associated with the date itself, which are potentially not insignificant, a 3-hour date bookended by an hour of travel at $1,300 an hour is $5,200. This means this guy is paying $5,000 in terms of the cost to his time to go on a date with you. And this does not include any of the time and effort that went into securing the date. This may come as a shock, but most women do not just show up into a man's life with an intention to make his life easier.
Shout out to Dr. Orion Taraban. Guys, this is where I get so bent out of shape. This is where I get so frustrated because at the end of the day, what's being expected of men has not changed in several tens of thousands of years. You have modern westernized women who say goofy ass things out loud where people can actually hear her. Like she's the table. Effectively saying that you bring the effort, the time, the money. You bring food, clothing, and shelter. You bring the utilities. You bring the protection. You bring the very seed of life itself contained inside your testicles. You bring all that, plus you bring the dates, the gifts, the entertainment, because they are very boring people. Become a tap dancing court jester for my entertainment because I'm so easily bored, because I have the mind of a child trapped in an adult shaped body. And what do you get for all this effort? You get me. You get a self-lubricating mucous membrane, a couple of nipples, and a stinky option if you're so adventurous. No femininity, no warmth, no nurturing, no caring, no empathy. Most of them don't even want to have kids. And if they do, those kids aren't actually children to them. They're leverage. So what's left in this modern day market? Well, not much. Can you find a good one? Sure, if you're patient enough. But my thing is, men perhaps should start being as ruthless in this dating market as women always have been. Men need to be as ruthless and prepared to throw a woman away at the slightest inconvenience, like they're oh so willing to do to us, for things that don't even matter. You should take that exact same methodology and use it on the things that do. If she's unreliable, cut her off. If she's unfaithful, cut her off. If she can't talk to you in a tone and a method that you find acceptable, cut her off. If she has male friends who you know want to fuck and she's pretending that don't, cut her off. Don't waste your time on someone who doesn't want to truly be there, guys. And you never want to waste your time on someone who's only giving you medium to low levels of interest. You can do better than that. And you should. And your ancestors will cheer when you do. That said, that's my time. Like the video? Comment down below. Share this video with a friend. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we working. Until next time.